Braum into melee support.
Yes.
And they have chosen here to go with Leona and Varus. And now we know that Zamulek plays more on hit Varus than he has played Lethality. He hasn't played Lethality at all. That means he plays on a shorter range. That means that Jhin really likes to play with his 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus, you have a Braum. Now, the problem here is he's not fast in proccing the concussive blows from Braum. He's not quick at proccing his passive because he's not an attack speed ADC. So I would love to see how that will work towards the bot side, because Braum versus Leona, Braum good. Braum proccing passive with a Jhin, not that great.
Not that great. I mean, also, when you get to those team fights, there is a Trundle there who would love to steal some of those resists from the Ornn or from the Braum here as well.
You've got a Zinzao. You've got
it's fine.
Okay, so I'm going to echo what Namera said.
Yeah.
I love the front to back that Singularity has here. They've got 3 tanks that can sit in the front line. They've got Muta, who has done the most damage for his team. He's #1 in the leaderboard in percentage damage for his team. So we can expect Muta to be the carry later on. And you also have a Jhin in your team that can create a lot of space. So I do love what they have. The damage numbers are lower, but you've got a bunch of frontline. Now, I like what JDXL here are doing, because the second these 3 members are walking in, unless Muta walks in and catches Eminem in the middle. If Eminence gets pinched here, it's over. But Eminence is going to spot them.
He will do, and the question now is what happens, because that is an early knowledge of Swan.
Muta should spot that Eminence is not mid yet, and where he's coming from.
It's going to be a 3v3.
They should know. They've been spotted.
Here we go, and Paul's going to be left alone. He's going to have to back out. It's done. It's the invade's failed. Surely, do you take this fight? I mean, it's Braum level 1. It's so strong. They're stepping forward. They want this. Zamulek has been slowed. Here we go. Heal down. Flash forward from Paul. He gets the rev up, but now he needs to get up. The Trundle damage is so obsessed. The leash. Kickers is going to be there. It's the leash. It's 2 dead, and it's a disaster for Singularity.
Ouch. Okay, you know how it all started. You know when Singularity should have backed out? The second Eminence steps out of that mid lane bush, they need to give up on that invade. Eminence spots them here, he lets them invade, but then he walks into mid lane. Muta should communicate that to his team, because you can see an invade from that mid lane bush, and to communicate to his team, you guys cannot do this. Yes, you have a Braum, but you also have a Jhin. And it's not the easiest proc on the passive, we mentioned that. Now, Leona level 1 is really strong. Varus level 1 is also pretty strong. And yes, you see the Braum is diving in, but who's gonna proc?
Inches.
Who's gonna proc that? Pop dives in, but that was beautiful from Zamulek to get away from it. Dan is gonna say, you know what, guys? Thank you so much for the leash. Thank you so much for the 2 kills. Try to invade me again if you can, because a 2-0 Trundle is going to be so dangerous to walk in.
Kickers just missed the flash route. Oh, that's so sad. But that is going to be... Actually, I believe that was the Hex flash, possibly.
What's Pop? Level 2 top lane.
Oh, he's going to be right up here, and Cries on this chase was looking to flex with it. He might now be in trouble. Audacious charge onto him. He's going to try and get out. That's a searing charge forward. He has no mana, and he'll shortly have no life.
Okay. Pop, that was very, very, very creative. He knew that he was screwed in his jungle, that he could potentially get invaded, but he went for the level 2 guy.
No.
Now, what they have not spotted is that there is a Trundle.
He's just done. He's going to try and make as much out of this as he can, but it's just not going to happen. Tatui head back, so there's no one to support him.
That is dangerous. There's a huge wave building up in the top lane. Tatui just TP'd back into his tower. Huge wave building up. I'd love to see the Braum walk up, but it's not going to be the case, and Eminence is just going to TP back into his mid to catch a huge wave.
And I believe it was Eminence Sol who picked up that kill onto Paup as well, so that's the kill onto the Corki early, and I appreciate the attempted response there after the early aggressive play went a bit awry. You try again top. Dan, though, is there to counter.
It was very creative. It was a play out of Malrang's book as well. He does the same on the Zinzao too. He will just take 1 buff, he will get level 2, and then he will go straight into a gank. I think that was very clever to do, because he did blow Crysis both flash and teleport. That means that it could be possible for a repeat gank. And as you can see, though, Dan knows that he is playing towards the top side of the map. Now he's going to back and go towards his bot side, which is where he needs to clear and play around his bot lane. I think Pop is majorly behind. Look at the inventory on the side of Dan. He's got his Kindle Gem. He also has his Sheen available. If you run into this Trundle, not only is he going to be extremely tanky, but he's going to hurt a lot as well.
Yeah. What's helping that inventory is the fact he's 2-0 and 1 sub 5 minutes. Like, this guy has had Granted, that first initial invade did not work, but the return, or the response top lane as well was really good stuff, and that is exactly what you want to see from this guy who has picked up the trundle. He's made things happen, and honestly, it's put Singularity's early plans into a serious bind, because this trundle is going to be a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's pretty safe, because you're like, okay, boys, we're scaling. We're not going to take any fights. We're not going to try to fight for any dragons yet. We need some items onto our carries. We need an item onto the Orianna and the Jhin at least for us to then go and try to fight over the dragons. You have 3, which means you get about 15 minutes to get to the state where you want to be to try and stop Soul from going towards the side of JDXL.
And we saw kind of how that ended up in the last game, right? You needed to fight, and you weren't there with Nariki, and they ended up in a difficult position partly because of that. And this is another example that might end up in that exact scenario. We'll have to see whether Singularity can stabilize. They're down about 2,000 gold, or 1,500 gold at this point. And did you have something to add there?
Yeah,
Double?
Pop is trying to go for the repeat gank in the top lane, which I really, really like, because Kryze does not have a teleport, he does not have a flash. He's just waiting for Kryze to overextend. Right now, JDXL know that Pop is in their jungle because they've seen the trundle on the bot side of the map. Pop here could change the tides around.
He's going to make it, he's going to try for it, he throws the wind, becomes lightning, and that was actually really clean. Nice job there, and Kryze picked that Jace, and he's died twice already, and that's a bright spark at least.
Can I whine a little bit? I'll whine after this.
Gonna try and get on this one.
Yeah, I just wish the kill had gone to Pop, because he's the one falling behind, and the Ornn doesn't necessarily need the money that much, but because Pop has fallen behind, I would rather the kill went to him. Now, of course, that's nothing you can blame me for, but the flash has been popped.
Oh, that was a nice piercing arrow. Now Zki is left all alone, and M&S is here as well. He's on a very fetching Corki mount there, who's going to try and take him on. It's more like an attack dog at this point. He's just left out for the wolves, or at least small dogs, and yeah, goodbye, sweet prince.
There is a dog there.
Well.
Corki is on top of a corgi.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, exactly. See, it was all planned trouble.
This is so hard to watch, man. I think JDXL are just one step ahead, and even though that Zenith blade did not hit in my screen, it did generally. He definitely did hit Braum right there.
You can have that argument about hitboxes later.
Yeah. Again, he gets onto the Braum, and you can see how difficult it is for the Jhin to proc the passive to stun someone. So the second Leona plays against the Braum and the passive is really easily procced, then you get to return a bunch of this damage. That's not the case again with the Jhin. So even though it does work against the Jace poke, it does work against the Varus poke, it does work against the Corki poke, you just don't proc it quick enough to make that bot lane work for the side of Singularity, and that is yet another lane that's fallen behind.
So we missed an attempted top lane dive.
That might be 3.
Yepe is now 0 and 3. That is not what you want to see as a Singularity fan coming back to life.
Okay. I need to wrap my head around positivity. What? That's what my play-by-play asks. What can Singularity do at this point?
I think they would like to have someone come and defend Pop here, who's being bullied as well. Yepe's respawned, and maybe that's something. Surely not. I think you need to back away, mate. Dan's on the killing spree. Here comes Muta, though, and maybe they can punish the overstay. They're going to take the red buff, and that
Thanks for the leash. Thanks for the leash, says Muta right there. Dan did not have the smite, of course, because he used it on Pop.
Okay. Big brain moment. Orianna has Clockwork Wind-Up. That means she can abuse the on-hit damage from the red buff as a top lane gank is happening, and that's the ultimate down. Missing that Volcanic Rupture, though, means I think Tsui just has to get out of there.
Yeah.
Back to the Orianna red buff. She's
This
got Clockwork Wind-Up. This is the turnaround.
Initialized. This is not TFT. This is not TFT. Let's see how many M&S can dodge. 1, 2...
4 hits, but flashes anyway, and that's not bad as far as what you're going to take away from that. You do get the flash of M&S. You can potentially come back and punish that later.
Kryze on the flank right there, and you see Dan getting towards the top side of the map. They could potentially build up a second wave right here and try to dive Tatooine, but at this point, do you want to pay any attention to the top side of the map? No, you do not. And yes, I'm going to go back to Muta because he is usually the top damage. Not usually. always the top damage dealer for the side of Singularity. But the problem right here is you've got a burst mage, such as Orianna, who wants to build up the shockwave onto 2 or 3 people, relatively carries if you can.
Sure.
But Eminence is really slippery, because he's going to have packets in most of these important fights, and he's also going to have his W available. And then all you can hit is Kreis, who's playing on the very far backline, poking. Maybe you could try to hit Zamulek. Other than that, your choice is Dan onto that Trundle and Kikis onto the Leona. So the only reason I'm worrying here is, again, I don't see continuity in the damage that Singularity are dishing out. Jhin is a relatively very slow ADC to put down the damage, and he's usually setting the scene for the damage dealers to dive in and do damage for him. And then Orianna is a pop mage. So he'll pop you with the shockwave. Yes, you can dish in some damage with QE, but that's all. On the other side, I see so much scaling.
I mean, at least you've got the Jinzao who can be a ball delivery system. You've got someone to help you set up the stunts. It's not easy, but you know, you have got the Jhin, you've got the Ornn maybe combined.
You're really trying.
I am really trying.
Okay.
Like, look, there are ways to do it. It's just not easy. And like, I'm not gonna fault Singularity for being proactive, but I do want to give JDXL even more credit for having the response every time, as that's the package down as this Infernal Dragon has spawned. I wonder whether it was just timing out. And they were thinking about a dive there, but they decided against. They're going to move back towards it. Zamulek now has to flash away to get those chains of corruption down. Flash is not available on Porp, and that means he's not going to be able to chase Zamulek any further.
That is more than enough, I feel, for Singularity to back off. They don't have the level 6 on the Brom, which means they're not going to have that extra layer of CC, and Zamulek is still perfectly alive to chill about.
That's going to be a lot of damage, but it's turning back around. Kick is now pretty low. The heal, though, from Zamulek means it comes around and it's already all in pieces. Zamulek on the killing spree, 3 dead, and you asked them to back out. They wanted to fight for it. If the level 6 was on the Braum, maybe.
It's level 5 Braum. It's a Jhin with like less than 50% HP. Porp didn't have his flash available to reach the backline. You can't have Ornn there for an extra layer of CC.
It's too far.
It's just some unfortunate decisions that Singularity have been doing that put them further and further into the gold deficit they're in right now. 5,000 gold in the lead for the side of JDXL, 11 only minutes into the game with 2 dragons under the name. This is going to be a little bit difficult for Singularity to turn it around. The only member that has received a lot of violence from the side of JDXL has been Kreis.
And the thing is, he knows this is happening, and this is what I'm appreciating.
He wants it.
He takes 8.
He wants it, and they know he wants it.
He wants this one so bad. And that's the problem. That ward is there, and I feel that's almost encapsulating a lot of this game for me. There has been some proactivity from Singularity. They've been going for plays, but every time it feels like they've been spotted from the level 1 plays to the top lane dives.
You're making
the responses
plays, but they also need to be calculated on the fact that there needs to be some vision on the map. I feel like so far Singularity have been making plays. They haven't had any vision. They know they've been behind from the get-go, and from there on out, they haven't stopped for a minute to say, okay, what does our composition do front to back? When do we thrive when we're a 5-man unit? And they've never been able to put this under control because Tatui has to stick topside the entire time.
And, you know, credit to JDXL for having the wards in the right places, but you're right, Singularity haven't been doing due diligence in working out what JDXL actually know. And that has caught them out. And yes, part of that is people like Yepe being behind and being dead quite a lot. I mean, you can't clear out the wards, but it's still become a problem, and you can see it just looking at your minimap. It is mostly blue at this point. It's looking like an Eiffel 95 song.
What?
Blue dabba dee dabba die?
Oh, right.
Come
okay.
on.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay,
I'm aware that's a bit of a 90s reference. I apologize.
Sorry, I'm too young. I don't remember the song. Sorry.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, it's an old and very cheesy song.
Sorry, I just turned like 19. You know,
yeah, sorry about that. It's fair. Like, you know, take that. It's probably not a song worth remembering.
Okay, try 2. Go.
Let's go. Round 3. Fight. Zamulek doesn't have flash, does have ult, but it's a shutdown, and that is something. First feel-good moment in a number of minutes.
Not quite as mobile as the core key.
Nope.
And he didn't have his flash available. That was a really nice catch right there from Singularity. Pop gets to cash in on the gold as well. And they're also going to get a beat down on that bot lane tower, which is very important. On the other hand, JDXL see that the majority of the Singularity members are bot side of the map. But all in all, I don't think Singularity lose anything here unless they can capitalize on Muta.
Flash from Danny just starts. It's a club beat, that's what that is. You can feel that one from the other side of Berlin.
Bonk.
I need that sound effect. That's going straight on the stream, I tell you now.
Remember how I said this is very positive for the side of Singularity because they get to do a lot of damage on the bot side of the map, on the tower, but instead, because Muta dies, they lose mid lane tower, they capitalize on a kill, and then Cries gets to pop the top lane tower as well, because he knows that majority of Singularity members are bot side.
Oh boy. I think that might be another 2 dead. Tatui gets away, but that is a 5th death of the game. At least Porp gets Zamalek again. That is that's something, but for all that you're making some little advantages, it's always going to be a massive cost as Cries nearly deletes the Ornn. In fact, he just needs one more shock blast. Where is he going to go for it, surely?
I don't think he has mana for it.
Nah, he doesn't. You're right. He's going to go to the hammer form and go for the Krugs instead.
I mean, he took the flash, he took the ultimate from the side of Tatui. He's done his job, right? And Eminence is now trying to 1v2.
No, that's so much damage. Zipiki could try and get something here, waiting for those shots as my voice goes about 3 octaves high as Eminence gets that one. 3,
okay, Kikis,
0, 2. Don't you dare touch it. A double kill in the 1v2.
Yeah, I just wanted to see the 1v2, you know? I'm like, Kikis, back off, mate.
Yeah.
Back off. Just let Eminence do his stuff. And Eminence, again, he's doing his stuff. The 1v2 down the bot, and I think Singularity are desperate at this point. They're almost 10,000 gold behind 15 minutes into the game. What can you do to bounce back? In all honesty, just because of how much damage Singularity is lacking at this point, I don't think there's much you can do, because if you look on the side, of JDXL, Jace is going to scale a lot.
He is.
Core, he scales so freaking much. And you also have on-hit Varus. It's not lethality Varus that falls off towards the later stages of the game. So, and you also have 2 walls in front of you, which are a Leona and a Trundle that cannot necessarily die too easily. So you're asking me for a Shining Light, 16 minutes into the game, with a 10 gold lead.
Trouble, I'm going to ask you to hold for a moment while I take a massive inhale of copium.
Okay. Oh, no, don't.
Okay,
no,
okay,
take Nightmare out of you.
Okay, look.
Nightmare, get out.
Never mind, we've got to talk about a fight. I can do this later as Yepe has to get away. That's Porp going in, gets onto Zamalek, who's pretty low, but now the curtains are called. Stun onto the Leona, who's going to have to try and get away. 4th bullet. Hits, but not enough damage. And actually, somehow, nobody is dead as yet.
Okay, but what does that give us, right? 2 members of Singularity have to back off. Really nice interrupt on Porp right there.
Oh no. Okay, Zamalek had to burn Flash, and he just gets to walk up and get a kill just afterwards.
So, one tragedy after another. I know Singularity finds an opening right there, but it ends up being them at a disadvantage. Now, Cries is going to be the recipient of a lot of violence up top lane.
Yep. That's the shockwave. Command Protect comes forward, but no! No one else where Eminence is getting kills on a dummy on the side of the map! JDXL just get 18 kills in 17 minutes. What on earth just happened in mid lane on top of it all?
Dragon, kills, all over the map. I think it's JDXL asserting the dominance, not even 20 minutes into the game. I think this is sort of an outclassing. Yeah, I think we can't name it any other way.
It really is.
This is the players outclassing the lanes one by one. And unfortunately, the only one that's holding their own is Tatui. But unfortunately, this time, he's not on a Wukong. He's not on an aggressive pick. He's not on a Camille. He is on the Ornn. Eminence is casually diving tier 2 mid lane.
There was a reason we asked him to take a bow.
On his 6th unique champion of the split.
He just woke up today and chose violence. Yeah, I mean, you just take a few, I think, at this point. It feels like 6 of them every bloody game. This guy is absolutely smurfing it. And I was going to make a joke about, look, there's no silver lining, there's a golden lightning. Look, the objective bounties are up, you know, go along that. But even with some of those available, I just don't see it. I think this game is bluntly pretty done at this point. I need to see mistake on mistake on mistake from JDXL, and I think it's just another pick. There is nowhere safe for you on this map.
Yeah, and look at the board side of the map. Yepe is sort of shadowing Muta. Muta has both of his summoners, but you know what? He's missing a teleport. He's gone for double mobility summoners, which I understand, but no teleport means it's going to take you a bunch of time to get back. And even though the curtain will be called in a little bit to try and defend the base, I don't think there is much you can do. There is a great Rift Herald hold from JDXL right there. They'll take mid lane tier 2. They'll take the Ornn with them. I think they'll take the entire game right here and right now.
I think this might be a last gasp from Singularity as JDXL claim 2 inhibitors. Cries gets Tatui as well. and they're not going to quite
They're
go on to
pinging it.
finish Inhibitor Tower. Oh, sorry, Nexus Towers, I apologize. One is down to about 10% HP as M&S is already at a point of critical mass. Those are nuclear warheads he is leveraging right now.
He's 5 levels on top of that
Oh,
Brom that
no.
he just shot an art towards. So M&S is a beast right now, highest level on the Rift together with Crash, who's been left alone in his own devices on the top side of the map. Again, we might sound a little bit repetitive here, but the game was over level 1.
It is 20 kills in sub 20 minutes. It is 12,000 gold in sub 20 minutes. They are at Soul Point JDXL. You were asked to put on a clinic to prove why you are expected to be in the top 2, to be challenging against X7. This is it. This is what you do against a team that is a development roster, that is there's a Uniyop roster. And there's a Baron start now as well.
Yeah, this is the last breath for Singularity, right? Can Pop move in? Can he steal the Baron? And even if he does, can you get anything from it?
Oh, God.
Is Pop gonna even be alive?
Oh, that's so nasty. He's just going to be taken out. M&S is waiting in the bush, and normally it's junglers that like to jump on AD carries like that. M&S is saying, I'm just going to look for the straight Penta here. He's got 2 already. The Baron's gone down to Dan, who I think soloed that alongside Zamalek. So apologies, it's a 2-man. Shockwave only hits minions. And I think it might be a sad farewell to Singularity in this game. They're waiting for a wave, and I think this is it, trouble.
I'm trying, man. I'm
There's
trying,
nothing.
but this is just too clean from JDXL. They've done everything in their power to make sure that every single lane outclasses their opponents. Dan with a little bit of a flashy flash right there, last minute.
And this is it. JDXL from minute 1 from the red buff invade have not taken their foot off the gas. It has been domination as M&S continues to absolutely eviscerate Singularity in this game. 21 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock.
See?